The pump gas labeled 88 is illegal to run in your mower, and that's federal law, not an opinion. Dodging it is the #1 habit on a short list of dollar tricks that make your gear outlast you. 7 of them. We're counting down. Here's what nobody at the register mentions. Almost every dead mower, trimmer, and pressure washer hauled back to that store didn't die of old age. It died of neglect that costs a couple of bucks to prevent, and the store would honestly rather sell you a new one than teach you the fix. So remember the word ethanol, because it comes back at #1. These are the 7 cheap moves a good small engine mechanic does on his own gear and rarely bothers explaining on yours. Number 7 is the $5 part that decides whether your engine sees year 10. The air filter. You already know it exists. What you maybe don't know is what a torn or missing one actually does. A small engine intake pulls in everything around it, and grit is basically liquid sandpaper for a cylinder wall. The people who rebuild these engines will tell you something blunt. A few specks of dirt past a bad filter can score that wall fast. The motor's worth hundreds, sometimes a couple thousand, and it can happen in a single afternoon. The filter costs about $5 to $15. Briggs Stratton's own schedule says check it every 25 hours or so. Swap the paper one when light won't pass through, and clean and re-oil a foam one. Either way, it's minutes. A part cheaper than lunch standing between dust and the most expensive component you own. Number 6 lives on the cutting edge. Literally, a dull blade and a dull chain don't just cut badly, they cost you money upstream. A dull mower blade tears grass instead of slicing it, but it also drags. And that drag loads the belts, the spindle bearings, and the crankshaft harder on every pass. Worse is a blade that's out of balance. That wobble becomes vibration, and vibration is what eats spindle bearings and, in a bad case, bends a crank. A balancer costs a couple dollars. Or you hang the blade on a nail and file the heavy end till it sits level. Same logic on a chainsaw. The folks at Steel point out that a sharp chain throws fat uniform chips. A dull one spits fine sawdust, smokes, and pulls to one side. That's not just slow, it's dangerous, and it wears the saw. And use the bar oil made for it, not motor oil. The real stuff has a tackifier so it clings at speed, while plain motor oil just flies off the bar. One honest tip from an arborist: the fastest way to wreck a chain is to let it kiss the dirt once. Number 5 is rust, and this is where I need to kill a myth you've probably been told. People swear by spraying everything down with that famous water-displacing spray for long-term rust protection. It's a great penetrant and it shoves water off metal, but it is not a long-term barrier. That light film thins out and leaves over a few weeks. For gear sitting all winter, you want something that actually stays. A wipe of light oil on bare blades works. Or, for a closed toolbox, drop in a vapor corrosion capsule. It fills the drawer with a thin protective film and reaches into corners oil can't. On battery terminals, a dab of dielectric grease seals out moisture. And no, it doesn't break your connection. The metal clamp still bites through to bare metal, and the grease only guards the edges. Cheap, and it stops the white crust that strands you on a cold morning. Quick gut check, because a pattern should be showing up by now. The clogged filter, the wobbling blade, the rusted terminal. Every one of those is a slow failure you can stop for pocket change. But left alone, every one of them ends the same way. With you in a checkout line, buying a replacement. That's not an accident. The whole replacement cycle quietly assumes you'll never do any of this. Number 4 is the one almost nobody does, and it's the pump saver move on your pressure washer. Here's the real mechanism, stripped of the marketing. The bottle's sold for this promised lubrication and corrosion protection. But the genuine killer of a pressure washer pump is simpler. It's water left inside that freezes, expands, and cracks the housing. That's the failure. A squirt of pump saver pushed through the inlet displaces that water so nothing freezes solid. Takes under a minute. And here's the honest version. Plenty of guys who do this for a living just run cheap RV antifreeze through the pump instead. The freeze protection is the part that matters, and a branded bottle isn't magic. Either way, a 1-minute habit saves a pump you'd otherwise toss the whole unit over. Number 3 is your battery, and the way you store it. First, let's bury an old wives' tale. Setting a battery on a concrete floor does not drain it. That was true 100 years ago with porous cases. But every modern battery wears a sealed plastic shell, and the floor does nothing. What actually murders a stored battery is heat and sitting at a low charge. Battery makers will tell you that for every roughly 18 degrees you raise the temperature, you cut its storage life in half. So the move is a smart maintainer, the kind that tops the battery up and then backs off on its own. And that word smart matters. A dumb trickle charger left on can cook a battery by never knowing when to quit. Clip the smart one on the day you park the gear and forget it. Number 2 is winter storage for the engine itself. And I'm going to give you the honest fight instead of pretending it's settled. Half the mechanics you'll meet say run the carburetor bone dry so there's no fuel left to turn to varnish. The other half, including the companies that sell fuel stabilizer, say the opposite. Fill it nearly full with treated fuel so air can't corrode the carb from inside. Both camps are full of people who genuinely know engines. Honestly, this storage stuff is the exact thing I ended up writing into a maintenance schedule I keep. Nobody ever hands you the calendar. So here's the part they actually agree on. The one move that's never in dispute. The worst thing you can possibly do is park it with old untreated gas sitting in the tank all winter. Pick either real method, just don't pick neglect. And change the oil before it sleeps, so acids and moisture aren't sitting in the crankcase for 5 months. Which brings us to number 1, the literal dollar habit, and the word I told you to remember. Ethanol. Most pump gas is 10% ethanol, and ethanol pulls water out of the air and holds it. Let it sit, and that water drops out and pools. It corrodes the carburetor and gums up the tiny passages that make the engine run. Mechanics call that phase separation, and it's the number 1 reason a mower won't start in spring. Now the dollar part. A splash of fuel stabilizer in the can, mixed into fresh gas, slows that gum from forming. It costs roughly $1 or $2 per tank. But be straight about what it does, because your comment section will be. Stabilizer protects fresh fuel. It cannot revive old gas, and even the brands that sell it say exactly that on their own label. The makers claim up to 24 months of protection. But neutral sources like AAA put untreated ethanol gas at 1 to 3 months before it turns. And if you want the real upgrade, it's ethanol-free gas. You can find it through a directory called puregas.org. And it skips the water problem entirely. Premium, by the way, won't save you. It usually carries the same 10% ethanol. So it's $1 to $2 of stabilizer against a carburetor job. The shop charges roughly $40 to $90 to clean a carb, and a fresh untreated tank is the fastest way to need one. And yes, I know. I just spent 12 minutes telling you to buy a $5 filter and $1 of fuel additive. I get how that sounds. But the point was never to scare you into a parts haul. It was to show you which pocket change moves actually pay off. So if you're standing in the aisle right now, wondering what's worth grabbing, here's the short, honest version. Fuel stabilizer runs about $8 to $15 a bottle, and it treats a whole season. It's the single cheapest hedge against the most common failure there is. A spare air filter for your specific engine is the best few dollars you'll ever spend. Full stop. Dielectric grease, under $10, lasts years. A smart battery maintainer runs more, call it $25 to $50. So that one's only worth it if you actually store a battery over winter. Your call. And a chain file or a 2-in-1 guide turns a dull saw into a sharp one for the price of a sandwich. None of these are glamorous, but all of them are cheaper than the thing they save. Here's the one line to carry out the door. The gear you already own was almost always built to last longer than the habits most people give it. The store profits when it dies young. You don't have to let it. A few dollars and 2 minutes is the entire difference between replacing a machine and keeping it for 20 years. One quick thing. Nobody sponsors this channel, and no brand pays me to point you anywhere, which is why the Buyer's Vault exists. The seasonal maintenance Bible in it is the schedule that turns a 5-year machine into a 20-year one. You got today's tips free either way, but the calendar's there if you want it. Link below. Next, the one about the so-called premium fuel that's quietly the same gas as regular. Just with a markup you're paying for nothing. YouTube thinks you'll like this video, so click it. And if you made it to the end, subscribe.